Hello students, very good morning. So students, in last class we were discussing our chapter oscillation and up to the topic of velocity of simple harmonic oscillation that we have discussed. So whenever the system is in simple harmonic oscillation, then when it starts to oscillate, then it will never stop. You know that property because there is the condition of free oscillation in the simple harmonic motion. Now let's discuss the rest of the properties or characteristics of the simple harmonic oscillation. So just now one characteristic, that is velocity, we have discussed, and also we have calculated what will be the acceleration of the system. So let's move further with the topic of acceleration again at mean position or extreme position. What will be the acceleration that time? So as the second one, the property we had, that is for the acceleration, and we have calculated acceleration that was equal to minus omega square x from here. So why acceleration has minus sign? Reason is that as whenever the particle will displace from its mean position, it will have always tendency to come again to its mean position due to elastic property. So it will the acceleration will always tend to its mean position, but we are doing the displacement away from the mean position. So that's why acceleration has opposite direction and it has a minus sign because of that one. Now let's see at its mean position what will be the acceleration. So at mean position, as here you know x is equal to 0. So at mean position as x is equal to 0, then a will be equal to obviously 0 from here. So the acceleration of the particle at mean position, that is base 0, but at extreme position, if you will see, then as extreme position x is equal to amplitude, so it is saying that a will be equal to minus omega square a from here, and this is the maximum possible amplitude there. So it means not amplitude, maximum possible acceleration. So maximum acceleration the particle is feeling at the extreme position, and minimum acceleration it is feeling at its mean position. So what the reason is that whenever it will feel the maximum acceleration at the extreme position, it will try to regain as its direction is always directed towards its mean position. So it will try to make the return of the particle from that position against the displacement. So this is the reason here that at extreme position this should be maximum. Now let's see after this one the third quantity that we can now discuss, that is the time period of the oscillation. So let's see what is now the time period of oscillation. So to calculate the time period, we can move from the topic as we know t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So or omega 0 we can also write. So as omega 0 is the frequency of oscillation, and here t is related by the omega 0 with this one, that is 2 pi by omega 0, because t is equal to 1 upon frequency, and this is angular frequency, that is equal to 2 pi f already. So we can find out this quantum. Now as we know omega 0 has value root k by m. So we can write now t is equal to 2 pi root of m upon k, and m is what here? M is mass, k is spring factor. So first of all, time period can be calculated by this one also. Again we can just write time period in another term, that's by using just now the equation we had, that was a is equal to omega 0 x. It means the acceleration of the particle as we know, that is given by a is equal to omega 0 x. I think that is not possible. Okay. So here we can find out what will be the value of omega. So this will be the value of omega, that is now here as omega we have used in the equation. So let's use omega. So omega will have the value root a by x from here, where a is acceleration, x is displacement. We can also write down in the place of omega this value. So if we will place the time period is given by 2 pi root of here omega, can write it x upon a. X is what? This is displacement, and a is what? That is acceleration. So time period is given also in this moment, that is t is equal to 2 pi root of displacement upon acceleration. Means if we know the displacement of the particle and acceleration of the particle, we can easily calculate the time period of the system. Means here through which what is the time taken by the particle to execute one oscillation, that will be the time period. Now next one after this, let's see the energy of or total energy in simple harmonic motion. Means at any time the particle that is doing motion as well as that is having position, like at mean position or at extreme position, what will be the total energy of the particle? So here as in this case only two types of possibilities are there, whether that can have configuration or the motion, because no other dissipating force is there, so no energy will be lost. So not any other form of energy will be there, only mechanical energy will be in the case of simple harmonic motion. So means we will have only kinetic energy and potential energy. So first in total energy of the simple harmonic motion, I think two types of condition is known, that is potential and kinetic. So obviously kinetic energy you will get due to motion, potential energy due to its position or configuration. So let's see, start to calculate one by one what will be the value of kinetic energy and potential energy of the particle at any instant. So first let's start with the concept of potential energy. So to calculate potential energy, consider a particle that has mass small m, that is executing simple harmonic motion with amplitude small a and constant angular frequency omega. So suppose t second after starting from the mean position, the displacement of the particle is x, and which is obviously given by the equation of the simple harmonic oscillation, that is a is sine omega t from here. Now after this one, as a velocity we can calculate, that is v is equal to here dx by dt. So that will be obviously equal to a omega cos of omega t. Similarly acceleration we can write, that is a omega square minus of a omega square sine of omega t. This is all we can write. Now here after this one, as there will be some work done for the additional very small displacement dx against the restoring force. So here as whenever the particle will be displaced, a restoring force will comes into the play, and against the restoring force, if we will again want to displace the particle, means even maximum possible displacement is amplitude, but after that when we are trying to just displace the system by dx amount, then that time we need to do some work against the restoring force. So obviously the work done while displacing the system, that will be equal to W is equal to, or a small work done, first of all let's see, to displace the system. So small work done, suppose dW is a small work done, that will be force into the displacement, small displacement that we have done in the system. Now this force F will have value that is equal to restoring force, and that is K into X into dx from here. So as work is done against the force, then that is obviously minus sign it will take. Also restoring force has minus sign, so we can also write minus minus, that will be obviously plus. So that's why we can write this kx dx, that will be the net work done from here. Again if we have to displace the system against this restoring force up to the displacement 0 to x, then the net work done that will be done by the system, or that we have to do on the system, that is from 0 to x dw. If we will find it, we can find out the net work done. So this will be 0 to x dx is equal to kx dx from here. So if we will integrate it, its value is obtained as x square upon 2. This is 0 to x. Finally we will get half of kx square, and that is the value of omega. Sorry, not omega. Here this is the value of w, that is work done. So if we are confused, then let me write this. So this work done, as you know, whenever we are doing some work against the force, then this work is stored or that appears as potential energy that of the particle. So here we can write now the potential energy in the while executing simple harmonic motion. The system has potential energy equal to half of k x square. So this is the net potential energy stored in the system here. Now again let's see at mean position and extreme position what will be the potential energy of the system. So at mean position, if we will see that x will be equal to 0, so u will be also 0 at mean position, and at extreme position as x is equal to its amplitude equal to amplitude, then u will be equal to half of ka square, that is a constant, and also this is the maximum value of the potential. So it means that at mean position particle don't have any kind of potential energy, so it will not have also the position or configuration. That's why the potential energy is 0. So always when a pulse displaced from its mean position, particle will never come to its original or condition or mean position, because that time its potential energy becomes 0. It will never attain a position at that point, but it attain a position, maximum position, that is at the extreme point only. So I think this is clear. This is the concept of simple harmonic motion. Means once displaced, system will never come to the rest. It will continually execute oscillation. Now let's calculate the second one, that is kinetic energy. So to calculate kinetic energy, we can use the expression of velocity. So as k is equal to kinetic energy is what, that is mv square. So let's use now the value of v from here. So as the value of v, that is equal to half of m. V is a omega cos of omega t whole square. So finally we will write this is half of m a square omega square cos square omega t from here. And again, as we know, the value of cos omega t, that was equal to 1 root of 1 minus x square by a square, that I told you before also. So we can use this value. So half m a square omega square. Now in the place of cos square omega t, we can write 1 minus x square upon a square from here. So if we will now solve this whole of the equation, means we will take it LCM, and this will be a square, then this a square will be cancelled out from here. So the final value of the kinetic energy, that I can written here, that is half of m omega square a square into x square from here. Now let's see again at mean position and extreme position what will be the value of kinetic energy. So this is the expression for the kinetic energy that we have got now. So at mean position, as x is equal to 0, so it is saying that this k will have value half of m omega square a square, because x will be 0, and this is now the maximum kinetic energy. So maximum kinetic energy, the particle is attacking at mean position, means always at that point particle will be in motion, it will never come to the rest. But at extreme position, let's see what will be the kinetic energy. So as at extreme position x is equal to a, so by using this expression, this a square minus x square will become 0, and whole of this expression will give k is equal to 0. So kinetic energy becomes 0 at extreme position. Now we can plot graph between this potential energy and kinetic energy using these two conditions that is for you. So let's plot the graph between them. So to plot the graph, let's use expression here. This is now the extreme extreme or the mean position here, that is x is equal to 0, and that is to extreme condition. This is x is equal to a in this positive x-axis, x is equal to a in negative x-axis. So I think this one is not visible, so let me use this x is equal to a here, and also this one. Let's use it. So I think this is completely visible now. Now as according to the first one, for potential energy at mean position, the potential energy is 0. So it means that here in the graph it will be 0, and at extreme position the potential energy is maximum. So if we will plot the graph for the potential energy, then this kind of curve we can obtain by using this expression, because this is half kx square. This is showing that the potential energy curve will be parabolic in nature. So if we will just plot a parabola using that equation, so this parabola has maximum possible placement at this value, that is x is equal to a from here. So we can now plot this graph, and between first of all potential energy graph we have plotted. This is the potential energy graph. Now let's use the kinetic energy graph in between this. So here kinetic energy, as you can see, at mean position the kinetic energy is maximum. So suppose this is now the maximum possible point energy of the this kinetic energy. Here now at extreme position, as kinetic energy becomes 0, so as this point it becomes 0, then we can meet these 3 points now. Again you can see this equation is representing a parabola, so this will be a parabola here. So this is now the kinetic energy, and this is potential energy, and the graph we can obtain, this kind of graph will be obtained in the system. So this is the graph between the two energies, that was kinetic energy and potential energy. Now after this, let's see the total energy of the system. Individual energies we have seen what will be the individual energy at mean position or at all over. So whether the mechanical energy is conserved in the system or not, so let's see that one also. So as you know that the mechanical energy is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So suppose capital E is the total energy or mechanical energy, so that will be equal to K plus U. K has value half m omega square a square minus x square, plus U has value half k x square. So in the place of k, as you know, k is omega is written as root of k by m. So we can also write k is equal to m omega square for here. So let's see, you write down this equation and let's expand this one also. So this will be m omega square a square minus of half m omega square x square, then plus half in the place of k m omega square x square. You can see this one will be cancelled out by each other. So its final value is obtained as half m omega square a square, and this is now the total energy. You can see in the expression of now total energy, half is constant, mass of the particle is already a constant, omega square, that is angular frequency, that is also a constant. Whenever the oscillation will start, as there is not any dissipating force, then angular frequency will be constant. This is maximum possible displacement, that is also constant value. So whole of the factor are constant, and it is saying that the total energy is a constant. So the total energy of the simple harmonic oscillation, that is a constant, means always it will be conserved. Whatever is the position, it is independent of that. Means if at mean position we will see if potential energy is 0, then that time kinetic energy is maximum. At extreme position, when kinetic energy is 0, then potential energy is maximum. And at other all values, it is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy, that will always make the value equal to this one. So it will be the constant value everywhere. So in simple harmonic motion, always the mechanical energy is conserved. So this is now the case of whole of the simple harmonic oscillation. That is, I think, now clear. After this one, let's start to discuss now the next thing, that is the application of simple harmonic oscillation. One by one, let's see that one. So we will start to discuss the application of simple harmonic oscillation with the concept of simple pendulum. So let's start to discuss now simple pendulum in simple harmonic motion. So what is now the simple pendulum? First of all, if we will just say simple pendulum is first of all the most common example of the bodies that is executing simple harmonic oscillation. So number of times the example I have told you, if you are just taking a thread and that time that thread is fixed from one of the end or it is clamped and now it is hanged and a bob that is attached to it. So this whole of the construction that you can see, that is now known as simple pendulum. But there should be some properties in the simple pendulum. It has to execute simple harmonic motion. So if ideal simple pendulum, about that we will talk. Then an ideal simple pendulum consists of a heavy point mass body that is called bob suspended by a weightless inextensible, means here the string that you will use, then that string should be weightless, that should not have any weight, because otherwise we will also have to consider the weight of the string. So the string that we are using, that should be obviously weightless. The second one, that should be inextensible, means because of this mass it should not be extended. In that case further again due to elastic behavior of the string, again a restoring force will start to act, then system will has to do some work against that one. So we will not be able to study in very proper manner in that time. So this string should have these two very additional property to make the system oscillation as the ideal oscillatory system. So it means first string is I think now clear. Next one, and the perfectly flexible string. So it should be also perfectly flexible, that can execute easily simple harmonic motion from a rigid support about which it is free to oscillate. So this is I think now clear. With these certain conditions, this system will become now the perfect oscillatory system, or that will be simple harmonic motion it will execute, and this is now known as simple pendulum. Now next one, an ideal simple pendulum, that cannot be achieved in practice because we cannot make such kind of a string that will be extensible, first of all weightless, and also the perfectly flexible spring we cannot make. That's why it is not possible to make it in daily life. But here as well as also the bob that we are attaching, that has some of the shape, size, and that's why in daily life when you will just do this experiment, after some time it will come to the rest. So obviously this is the ideal condition. So we are just first discussing the ideal condition, later we will also see the condition of the real life also, and how the oscillations we are seeing, like the oscillation of clock pendulum we are seeing, or any of the system that is oscillating in real life, we will see in the case of damped harmonic motion. Now if we will just start to give the displacement to this bob here. So if this bob is displaced from its mean position, then obviously from here and some of the angle it will make at the fixed end. So at fixed end, suppose this is now the end here S, it starts to make the angle theta. So whenever it will be here, then obviously in a spring there should be some tension that will always act towards the fixed point. And now here the weight of the body, this body when it will come to this extreme position P, its weight will be obviously acting in downward direction. If suppose m is the mass of this bob here. So this will have obviously two components. We can see its two components, that is one along this direction, one along this direction. So this will be obviously equal to theta. So if it is theta, then that time it will be mg cos theta, and this will be mg sin theta per here. So the tension in the spring that will be balanced by mg cos theta factor, and also this mg sin theta, you can see this direction of the mg sin theta in along the mean position of the bob. So when it means that it is acting restoring force in the system here. So it is trying to restore the bob whenever it is displaced from its mean position. Now as here so here as we can see in this whole of the system, this is counterbalanced by this one and this is providing the restoring force. So this is now the concept of here simple pendulum that will work on the concept of the restoring force as well, again just like the other bodies that were executing oscillation. So this is I think now clear. First of all, how can it perform the simple harmonic oscillation, what will be the time period, frequency, all about the simple pendulum we will discuss in next class. So for today I think the introduction about simple pendulum is clear, how it is executing simple harmonic motion, which kind of force is acting, that is also clear. So let's end our class here with this discussion today. Let's discuss the simple pendulum in more detail in next class. So thank you students for today.